Welcome everybody to this special edition of High and Outside, the number one sports show here at KSYM San Antonio College Radio. We're here with our usual co-hosts, Ray Carter, Carson Shade, and today we got a special guest in the building, Kevin Von Erich. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey fellas, how are you
We're
Pretty
good, we're
good. We're
good.
good.
You're
today?
here for AEW Dynamite this week. I can imagine you've been in San Antonio plenty of times. How do you enjoy the city?
Shoot, I love San Antonio, man. Really, I was just saying to somebody that when we used to come to the Joe and Harry Freeman Coliseum and then the Hemisphere Arena on Thursday nights, man, it would rock. I mean, the kids were so loud, it was really louder than DFW. It really was. It was just, I think it was because they were just so excited and it made a sound. It was like, I think my ears still ring because of that sound to this day.
The memories are there for sure.
Yeah, what you got?
So a lot of our viewers don't know is that you're actually a coach for AEW. So can you kind of tell us what exactly do you do as a coach? And is there anybody on the roster that maybe could be the next superstar?
Sure, yeah, there are several of them, and I don't want to make the mistake of naming a name because then I'll leave people off, and there's not that. It just happens to be the same formula we had in the old days of world class wrestling. We were all young guys, all we were all hungry, and we kind of knew who we wanted to project in the ring, and we let those guys go with their gut, and I think it paid off big time for us because they were all, like Jimmy Garvin and Sunshine and Iceman and Chris Adams and Wild Bill Irwin and everyone had something, and it was like, uh, and then there was a professionalism too that I noticed that the guys that there was a time when I wanted to change wrestling to kind of like our show was that's fast action, but you've got to respond really quick. You have to really have wrestling in your blood, I guess you could say, because you have to have like this your what's the word for it? It's a memoried response. Your hands, you just when you're in some kind of an altercation, you feel so comfortable because everything just comes to you. And with and that's what I notice when I watch AEW now. It's these guys are in the old days. I'll say that we used to. We were all just on this side of being thugs. We were beer drinkers and hell raisers. The wrestlers were, and but nowadays, the wrestlers, there's no drugs in the locker room. No one does any drugs. And they're all like guys that are driven to succeed, to be their best, their very best. And that's a price, that's a price that most people won't pay to work beyond your limit, to where you throw up. Sometimes that's what we did. We would work till we threw up because, I mean, it was when your body tells you quit, you can't listen to it. Your body's weak. Your body wants an out. You have to fight through that. And these are the guys that are willing to go that far and pay that price. And there's about 7 or 8 of them, and I'm not even counting my boys. My boys pay the price. But that's who it is, and I'm really proud of this company. I believe this is going to be the flag bearer for this new style of wrestling that I believe this generation demands.
That's awesome. Great to hear that. You did mention your sons, Marshall and Ross. You came back in 2017 for kind of a one night special return with them. What was that like to come back in and wrestle alongside your sons in back in 2017?
Oh, gosh, that was in Israel, the last show.
Yes.
That was
Yeah,
great.
Tel
That was
Aviv, I
great.
believe.
Yeah, that was a great time for me. I wanted them to go over there with me so long, and we did. Wonderful people, and what fans they are too. And so that was really just great. But I'll tell you, when I see my boys doing what I used to do, and I hear them say little quick words to each other, signals like "duck, grab, Blake, duck, take it," just little stuff that we would say. It's too quick for anyone else to get, but they use the exact same signals that me, David Curry, would use, and it's like I didn't teach them that either. It came to them, and it's just amazing the things that have come about. Is if these guys are the future of wrestling. I really know that. I really know. There's this rumor going around that the Von Erichs are cursed. In the movie, you really hit that stuff pretty hard. But my boys want to show the world that they're not cursed; they're blessed. Excuse me. Every day is like that for me. I've got grandchildren. I'm happy all the time, but my sons, they're still in that fight mode that I was in. Like a young man has to be. Shoot, y'all, a girl, sweet, a girl, she grows up, she's beautiful, she gets married, all the guys want her, whatever. But us men, we're nobody. We have to make ourselves. We have to make it, and that's life. It's tough, and that's just the way it is. And so that's who we've got. There's a bunch of young tigers that are willing to tear the door down to get in, and it shows. And I think a lot of people be impressed with the AEW style. Now,
I want to take it back to the sportatorium. Is there like a specific smell or sound that takes you back to those nights? Because they were special back then.
boy, they were, wasn't it?
Hmm.
I heard Michael Hayes get on the radio and talk about how dirty the place was and rats and all that. And we had cats to get the rats, but I do remember the smell of those corn tortillas and those tacos. We had the best tacos anywhere. I mean, I remember they give them to you in a rack of four, and then they also had good cheeseburgers there or hamburgers and uh, and beer and stuff like that. Oh, and French fries. You remember French fries, Jack's French fries? That was great. Yeah. So I'd say to Michaels, they sure did sell a lot of food for the place to stink. Because when I think of Sportatorium, I think of the smell of those tortillas, those
Yeah.
tacos.
I wanted to ask because just recently Ric Flair also went to AEW. So what does that mean to you, considering you guys had a rivalry, back then, and now seeing him that he still keeps up with wrestling?
What name did you say again?
Oh, so seeing Ric Flair come back, going down to AEW, what does that mean for you, considering the rivalry you guys had before, and seeing that he's
Ric
still keeping
Flair?
up with it? Yes.
Ric Flair, you say? I'll be
Yes.
darned. No. He's an old foe, all right, and I have all the respect in the world for him, but oh, but nothing. He's tough and he's got the test of time. So nothing but respect for Rick. But he is an old foe, all right. And if oh gosh, I don't know. I'm not going to go too far, but yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be good to see him. Sure, I
You
can't wait.
so
That'll be a great night.
you had plenty of rivalries, including Chris Adams and Ric Flair, like we mentioned. Is there any other wrestler that was like a standout, either friend or foe for you in the ring or outside of the ring that you can remember?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that. I mean, like I have friends, and wrestling is a tough business. Like you kind of have to respect each other, and sometimes you have to earn the respect. And I can remember a few guys like Buzz Sawyer and Matt Bourne, Rick Rude, where we'd have to get crossways first, and then we could be friends, and that's kind of how it was with them. Those three guys love to fight, but I always like to fight myself too. And it got from being a kid, I was bullied. I mean, I say bullied. I was a young kid, and the older kids, see my dad in wrestling and want to beat me up. And I got beat up a lot, you guys, but it made me learn one thing. Getting punched in the face is not that bad. It's loud, it gives you a headache, but once you realize that, it's starting the party. It's like some bullies had it coming too. And I have to say, I went for maybe a month and a half, kind of where I myself was a bully. I picked on them, like, but I stopped that. And by the time our brothers were in school, nobody picked on anybody in our school. But bullies are like animals; they have to be corrected, like with pain. And that's just the way life was back then. And shoot, I bet it still is now.
Yeah, I want to bring it to just in case anybody's going through anything out there. What does faith mean to you after everything you've been through?
What is what again now?
Faith.
Faith. Oh man, I'll tell you. There was a time when my whole world was about my dog and my 22 and my truck. and man, that's all I wanted. And then, so I got married, and still she's a girlfriend. She didn't beat my dog still, but then when she had a baby, she had my daughter Kristen. She became the queen of my castle, you guys. I mean, and she made me the king too. And we've lived such a beautiful, like, 46 years now married because we put God first, and we don't say ruthless, cruel things to each other, and we just we're concerned with each other. And you guys, we do some badass stuff out there in this world. We got to make the check come home. We got to supply. We have to be the man. But when you can look in that bed and see your woman laying there with maybe with a baby sleeping with her, and the way they trust us when they look, we know we're going to make it happen. Damn it, we have to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we do because we're men, by golly. And that's just life, but it's the way it is, and it leads to a great life. But you have to struggle when you're young. But a day will come when it gets easier. But right now, you guys are fighters, and that's what we have to be like. Be tough.
So that's some touching stuff right there. I wanted to ask you, what do you want the Von Erich legacy, to kind of carry on to the newer generation? What do you feel like people could gain from that?
Well, I want the people to know that God is a fair God. He wouldn't just uh, curse me or my family. I know He wouldn't. And I have a relationship with God. And I know that when I die, I'll see my brothers again. And I'm looking forward to that too. And I want them to meet my sons and all that. But all that's for a day that isn't here yet. And so I'm going to do the best I can while I'm here. And, just keep pouring my heart into things. And one day it'll all be over. But until that day, it's a go, go, go. And my sons want the world to know that they're not cursed, they're blessed. That they enjoy their life, they love their life, and they travel. They've been all over the world, and they know things they know things I taught them, and those things they've learned on their own. And so they've got a good round. I sent them to the those dojos in Japan and for 2 years because they told me they wanted to be a wrestler, and I said, son, you don't want to look how I'm crippled up. I can barely run anymore. I used to be a high hurdler. I used to run the 400 meter, and now I can't even run. And you don't want to be like this, but they did. They did want to be like this, but so I sent them over there to Japan, and that means they bow to people, they sweep the building, they build the ring, they clean up after it, and then they do sit-ups all day and all night, push-ups, and then they wrestle in those rings. And I mean, bloodthirsty wrestling too, and 2 years of it, and it just it made them really tough, but it also made them hang together because they just had each other, and that's like me and my brothers were put in the ring early, and that made us really close, and we were close anyway in there. But I'm telling you, it really makes them where they're like teamwork right now. They're like clockwork, and they're fluid. They react instantaneously, and they have got snap and good power. I saw Ross Marshall pick up this guy the other day and just slam this 400 pounder almost through the ring. He was, the crowd does that, that's that, what is it? Adrenaline, with the crowd. I don't know how you guys wrestled in those empty buildings during COVID, but I couldn't have done that. But man, with the crowd, you feel like you're flying, you just fly.
Yeah, and obviously it's clear as day to anybody to know that family is a big part of your life and the Von Erich legacy. Back in 2009, you guys were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I wanted to know a little bit about what that experience was like for you and the meaning that it carries with you for your family to this day.
Well, it's an honor, and I appreciate that so much. And they had a great party, There had and I met Kid Rock there, a real great guy. I liked him, and it was a great party all around. In fact, we smoked a cigar back there in Houston. They said no smoking, no smoking. I thought, well, this is WrestleMania. I'm gonna risk it. And me and Kid smoked a cigar right in front of everybody. And so a lot of the wrestlers' wives came over and smoked cigarettes by us. you know, they're wanting to smoke.
So, a lot of wrestlers from the 70s and 80s, they're obviously not around, unfortunately. What can you attribute to your good health nowadays and being healthy as you've been these past couple of years?
Well, you guys, beer tastes good, but I'll tell you what, if you look around, a lot of guys drink too much of it. And I'm probably talking about the old days, but that belly comes out and it's just a matter of time till you die of a heart attack. And so taking care of yourself and remember to eat until you're full, and I mean, eat until you're full, but eat good things, good food and get your sleep too. And remember, stay healthy because if you're going to drive this body your whole life, let it be a Porsche. Be in shape, and so that on a day that comes by and maybe somebody's abusing a girl or some big guy's picking on some little kids, you have the means to correct them and make good come about. And so that's a good day. And so shoot for that day. Be healthy and keep yourself prepared.
I in a little bit of my research, what I've found is that you've got a lengthy resume when it comes to championships and titles. Kind of bouncing off of Ray's question, is there any favorite memory from either a tag team championship or a singles championship that you have that sticks out in your mind?
Gosh, there were so many, they all run together, really. In fact, I've pretty much forgotten them unless I can see a tape of the match, and then I'll remember everything, And my wife, if she sees one of those tapes, she can tell you what clothes I had on that night and all that kind of stuff. I know how she does it, but I could never do that. But I have had some matches with. I had a clean match one time in St. Louis with Billy Robinson, and he's a big name over in Europe. He's probably a big name here too, but he's an expert all the way around. And we had a really good clean match, and I don't know, that was memorable to me because Billy Robinson was such a huge name, and I was lucky to do so well. And had the reason I did well is because guys like him that have taught me things. I'll tell you, every time you wrestle in a match, you learn something. And every time you get beat in a match, you learn three things. And so you always learn way more from defeat than victory. And so cheer each other up because defeat's going to happen. And it's just, you know, don't get knocked off your horse.
All right, before we get you out of here, I want to start a new tradition on the show. If you could name three things you're grateful for in your life, what would those things be?
Oh, wow. I'm grateful that God spared me, held me so long, and to let me to come to see this day when I have grandchildren and sons and daughters, because family is the only thing that lasts in the world. Yeah, it's just love each other and don't drift away from your brother or your sister. Stay close, stay in contact with each other because family is the only thing you'll have one day. And it is worth it. It's worth a fight. So if it's a struggle, endure it, you guys. Do it because you'll regret it if you don't one day. It's so good to have family. I lost mine, and so I can tell you now that to have another family is wonderful, and it's life is good, but stay humble, stay holy, and keep brotherhood in your life. Yeah, love each other.
On that note, thank you, Kevin, for being on the show once again. I hope you enjoy your time in San Antonio this week.
Yeah,
I sure will. Y'all have a great time, and I'll see you at the show. Okay?
Yeah,
see you
we'll
at the
see you.
Set
show.
me up.